The course project that I chose to work with is What is a Modern Educator? This included reviewing what it means to be a modern educator, what strategies and tools work best, how does a modern educator remain one, and how is my overall answer the same or different from what I originally thought it should be. Well, I can tell you that after much struggling with research, there is not a lot of information about a modern educator. Therefore, this left me with a big question mark about what is a modern educator. My initial thoughts about a modern educator were that this would obviously be important, so there should be lots of peer-reviewed journals of recent analogy. Much to my contrary belief, I had to really explore to find even the most recent reviews or possible analogies about modern educators. Above is my project activity and outline that I initially turned in. You can see I started with a timeline, a lit review ideally was the beginning of my project right here. I also looked at developing a questionnaire, and I ended up using the SurveyMonkey to conduct my questionnaire. I continued and through parent conferences did some personal interviews for data both with teachers and families, informally gathering data and beliefs and concerns. I then gathered all the data together, you can see here, to analyze information and begin to prepare an outline for my report. I then finalized my project by utilizing an APA-style format to prepare a paper and turn in my final project. As mentioned earlier, the literature review of at least 10 articles was a bit of a struggle. I found minimal resources of current information related to this topic. I ended up utilizing knowledge acquired from research-based coursework at the University of Kansas, and I ended up utilizing works of past coursework articles, links, and surveys found from prior research around the world. Because of the lack of research, I began to focus on teacher demographics and preferences of modern educators of 2017. This began to incorporate much of what we have learned over our coursework here at the University of Kansas. Particularly, I focused and found information related to co-teaching and other new strategies for reaching our modern-day learners. Important key findings. Co-teaching, for instance. Co-teaching was found to be almost 100% preferred by many of the educators if it is approached correctly. Co-teaching and new evidence-based practices, again, are welcomed. However, I found much disaccord and disagreement about key approaches to teaching in general that can cause co-teaching to be not such a positive experience for teachers and students. Examples of this included their philosophies about the approach to teacher-driven information and lectures versus hands-on choices with students in the classroom. Trainings versus informal gathering of information became another important key finding. More than 52% of those felt trainings and in-services were important and helpful, but even more important was the finding that informal information and sharing with colleagues was felt to be far, far more helpful than structured in-services. final conclusion was that relationships and care matter most in seeking to work with students and to continue to move forward with our struggling learners.